Qualities of zodiac signs, movable, fixed, and dual signs, Pisces, Part 12. Pisces is a dual or dvisvabhav sign, ruled by Jupiter, with Neptune as the modern co-ruler and aligned with the water element. As a dual sign, Pisces embodies Sattva Guna, the quality of wisdom, clarity, and adaptability, but here it flows through emotion, intuition, and transcendence. Pisces' movement is quiet, subtle, and often invisible. It shifts like a dream, merging realities, weaving between worlds, and adapting not for efficiency or strategy, but for spiritual resonance. When Pisces rises as the Ascendant, the personality is sensitive, imaginative, and open-hearted. These individuals often appear gentle, creative, or deeply empathic. Being a dual water sign, Pisces can shift easily between moods, identities, or environments, not because of instability, but because they're attuned to what's beneath the surface. They respond more to energy than logic. This gives them intuitive flexibility, but also makes them vulnerable to confusion or emotional absorption if boundaries aren't cultivated. With Pisces in the 4th house, as it occurs for Sagittarius Ascendant, the emotional foundation is deeply spiritual or imaginative. These individuals may be raised in a home filled with idealism, religion, or subtle emotional undercurrents. The home may be peaceful, artistic, or somewhat disconnected from material grounding. As a mutable sign, Pisces here may bring changes in residence, but more importantly, emotional fluidity within the household. The inner world is shaped by longing, dreams, or emotional merging with family members. In the 7th house, for Virgo Ascendant, Pisces brings compassion, forgiveness, and romantic idealism into relationships. These individuals often look for soulful, poetic, or spiritually resonant partnerships. They may attract sensitive or artistic partners, or play the healer role themselves. However, Pisces' mutability can make boundaries difficult. They may tolerate more than they should, or idealize a partner beyond what reality allows. The journey in relationship is to learn how to love without losing the self. Career-wise, Pisces in the 10th house, as seen in Gemini Ascendant charts, brings a vocation that is inspired, creative, or service-driven. These individuals may excel in healing professions, the arts, spiritual guidance, film, or any field where imagination and compassion are assets. The mutable quality here brings shifts in career direction, often motivated by inner callings rather than external opportunity. They may leave careers that lack soul, or transform their professional identity multiple times over a lifetime. Pisces' duality is not logical or analytical, it's emotional and mystical. It allows the self to dissolve into something larger: art, music, a cause, or the divine. The challenge is that this flexibility can lead to lack of grounding. Pisces must learn to discern dreams from delusions. Its strength lies in surrender, but not in passivity. It grows by listening inwardly and allowing that truth to guide action. Sattva Guna in Pisces expresses as a longing for unity and transcendence. When balanced, it becomes compassion, devotion, and deep wisdom. When unbalanced, it can express as escapism, martyrdom, or emotional over-identification. Jupiter, its ruler, brings the quest for higher meaning, but it must be anchored with clarity and inner direction. For Pisces, faith is not just belief, it's lived as an intuitive flow. So whether Pisces shapes your personality, home, relationships, or profession, it brings the principle of soulful adaptability. It doesn't shift for approval, it shifts for alignment. Pisces doesn't stand firm like a rock or march ahead like fire. It moves like water, gently shaping life from within. And in that quiet movement lies its greatest strength: the ability to feel, to absorb, and to transform through presence. Changing energies of planets with qualities of zodiac sign, Part 12, Pisces with conjunctions and yogas. Pisces is a dual water sign, ruled by Jupiter and infused with Sattva Guna. Unlike Cancer's protective emotion or Scorpio's transformative intensity, Pisces represents dissolution, intuition, surrender, and the ultimate merging of form with formlessness. Mutable by nature, Pisces is porous. It absorbs energies, diffuses boundaries, and channels imagination into faith, poetry, healing, or transcendence. Planets placed in Pisces soften, spiritualize, or escape, depending on their maturity and intention. Conjunctions here yield dreamers, mystics, compassionate creators, or seekers of the infinite. When grounded by Jupiter or Saturn, they elevate humanity. When unmoored, they float in illusion, avoidance, or passive longing. Sun's Mercury in Pisces in the 1st house merges personal identity with subtle thought. The Sun seeks clarity, Mercury seeks logic, but Pisces distorts both with water and dream. Mercury is debilitated here, while the Sun is colored by surrender. This conjunction creates gentle leaders, poetic thinkers, or soft-spoken strategists. If Jupiter supports from a Kendra or Trikona, this becomes a Vishuddha Buddhi Yoga, wisdom through intuition rather than reason. If afflicted, it may cause self-doubt, forgetfulness, or emotional distraction. Moon plus Venus in Pisces in the second house creates one of the most refined emotional aesthetic blends in the zodiac. The Moon nurtures, Venus loves, and Pisces exalts Venus. In the second house of voice and values, this forms a Mahalakshmi Yoga, graceful speech, artistic wealth, and devotional beauty. These individuals often sing, write, or express in emotionally resonant ways. Their value system is rooted in compassion, art, or mysticism. If afflicted, it may lead to overindulgence, financial vagueness, or romantic idealism. Mars plus Saturn in Pisces in the third house combines assertion and endurance through a dissolving medium. Mars wants to act, Saturn wants to wait, Pisces wants to surrender. In the third house of effort and expression, this produces a disciplined spiritual warrior, a monk scribe, or someone who works behind the scenes with long-term focus. If both are strong in Jupiter aspects, this becomes a tapasvi yoga, strength through silence, resilience through faith. If afflicted, it can result in hesitation, suppressed anger, or self-blocked communication. Jupiter's Ketu in Pisces in the fourth house creates a rare Paramahamsa yoga, the yogi in the heart. Jupiter rules Pisces and the fourth house governs emotional foundation. Ketu removes attachments. This conjunction often reflects souls who live detached within, those raised in spiritual homes or drawn to inner solitude. They are emotional renunciates or subtle mystics. Their presence brings peace, but their path is inward. If afflicted, they may struggle to stay grounded or avoid intimacy under the guise of spiritual detachment. Venus plus Mars in Pisces in the fifth house merges sacred desire with romantic dream. Venus is exalted, Mars is softened. In the fifth house of creativity and romance, this pairing produces tantric poets, devotional performers, or deeply romantic lovers with high ideals. If Jupiter supports, this becomes a Bhakti Kama Yoga, love as the path to transcendence. If afflicted, it may cause cycles of romantic disillusionment or artistic escapism. Sun's Ketu in Pisces in the sixth house reflects the anonymous servant leader archetype. The Sun desires to be seen, Ketu erases visibility. In the house of service, Pisces spiritualizes their motive. These natives may work tirelessly without recognition, often in healing, religious, or institutional settings. They serve not from ego, but dharma. If Jupiter aspects or rules the Ascendant, this becomes Moksha Seva Yoga, enlightenment through selfless service. If afflicted, there may be health issues from over-sacrifice or identity confusion in routine life. Moon plus Mercury Jupiter in Pisces in the seventh house produces a wise, emotionally intelligent partner with poetic expression and natural guidance. The Moon gives empathy, Mercury intellect, and Jupiter dharma. Pisces lifts all three into a soul-based relational field. These individuals are natural counselors, compassionate teachers, or devotional companions. If all three are strong, this forms a powerful Saraswati yoga in partnership, wisdom and beauty in emotional union. If afflicted, the individual may struggle to define boundaries or maintain realism in relationships. Mars plus Rahu in Pisces in the eighth house creates a subtle but intense pursuit of hidden knowledge, healing power, or mysticism. Mars gives initiative, Rahu gives obsession, Pisces dissolves fear. In the house of death, secrets, and inner alchemy, this combination produces spiritual warriors, energy workers, or tantric reformers. If Mars is strong and Jupiter aspects, it forms a Viparita Raja Yoga, victory through crisis and transformation. If afflicted, it can manifest as repressed trauma, escapist compulsions, or erratic spiritual experimentation. Saturn, Venus, Mercury in Pisces in the 10th house gives structured creativity, refined speech, and devotional leadership in career. Saturn disciplines, Venus beautifies, Mercury expresses, all softened by Pisces. In the 10th house of karma, this trio produces musicians, spiritual teachers, ethical artists, or those who build careers rooted in subtle service. If Jupiter supports and Venus is exalted, this becomes a karma siddhi yoga, career success through spiritual alignment. If afflicted, they may struggle with worldly ambition or lack clarity in professional direction. Jupiter plus Moon Ketu in Pisces in the 12th house forms a deep moksha yoga. Jupiter expands, Moon absorbs, Ketu detaches. Pisces welcomes all three into transcendence. These souls are often reincarnated seekers, drawn to solitude, spiritual retreat, and universal compassion. In the 12th house of liberation and surrender, they operate in the dream world, the monastery, or the collective unconscious. This yoga bestows detachment, bliss, and insight, often hidden from outer visibility. If afflicted, it may lead to escapism, spiritual bypassing, or emotional disconnection. Conjunctions in Pisces blur boundaries but deepen essence. They dissolve ego, time, and linear desire, redirecting planets toward imagination, sacrifice, or spiritual fusion. The yogas formed here are quiet but transcendent. If Jupiter is strong and the Moon or Ketu well placed, Pisces conjunctions produce healers, poets, monks, or visionaries. Their influence does not always build structures, but it redeems, forgives, and frees. Pisces asks not what will you build, but what will you let go of so the divine can enter. Changing energies of planets with qualities of zodiac sign, Part 12, Pisces, continued with more conjunctions and yogas. Pisces, the final sign of the zodiac, is where form dissolves into formlessness and action becomes surrender. Governed by Sattva Guna and ruled by Jupiter, Pisces encourages planets to transcend ego and merge into something higher, be it spiritual purpose, collective compassion, or dreamlike artistry. Here, conjunctions unfold in subtle dimensions, in devotion, in vision, in silence. Planets placed together in Pisces soften, blend, and channel through intuition, creative empathy, or invisible service. Yogas that form here often don't dominate the material plane, but shape it through healing, dreaming, and dissolving boundaries. Sun-Saturn in Pisces in the first house reflects the dignified renunciate or karmic authority in a humble form. The Sun radiates ego and purpose. Saturn humbles and delays. In Pisces, they both surrender ambition in favor of soulful responsibility. These individuals often carry a quiet nobility, becoming guides, monks, or disciplined spiritual workers. If well-placed, this forms Uttama Tapasvi Yoga, a personality refined by patience and guided by Dharma. If afflicted, it may manifest as guilt, delayed self-expression, or spiritual isolation. Moon Rahu in Pisces in the second house intensifies emotional speech, karmic voice, and fluid value systems. The Moon governs memory and emotion. Rahu inflates or distorts. In Pisces, they create a voice of visionary feeling or psychic overflow. These individuals may speak with captivating presence, chanting, poetry, or emotionally charged speech. If Jupiter aspects, it becomes Vaksiti Yoga, the power to manifest or heal through voice. If afflicted, it may bring emotional confusion, escapism in communication, or financial delusions. Venus plus Ketu in Pisces in the third house brings detached creativity, mystic grace, and devotional skill. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and Ketu spiritualizes whatever it touches. In the third house of effort and self-expression, this combination can produce secluded artists, spiritual writers, or those with refined creative gifts who work from behind the scenes. If Mercury is strong or Jupiter aspects, it becomes a rare bhakti yoga of communication, art in service of divinity. If afflicted, this may manifest as romantic disappointment, hesitation to act, or withdrawal from social expression. Mars-Mercury in Pisces in the fourth house merges action and intellect in service of emotional or spiritual grounding. Mars provides energy, Mercury lends thought, Pisces dissolves and spiritualizes. In the fourth house, this pair creates quiet, service-minded people who act decisively when inner peace is disturbed. They may become healers, guardians of sacred spaces, or defenders of the vulnerable. If well supported, this becomes Jnana Seva Yoga. Intelligence encourages you to protect what is holy. If afflicted, internal tension may build between logic and intuition, leading to stress or displaced effort. Jupiter, Venus, Saturn in Pisces in the fifth house combines expansive devotion, aesthetic refinement, and karmic patience in the realm of creativity, children, and dharma. Jupiter gives faith, Venus gives beauty, and Saturn lends form and longevity. In Pisces, this blend can produce deeply spiritual artists, long-practicing musicians, or soulful educators. If Jupiter is dominant and Moon aspects, this becomes Saraswati Yoga of the heart, divine knowledge and art expressed with enduring grace. If afflicted, there may be emotional hesitation in romance or delay in creative flowering. Sun, Mercury's Rahu in Pisces in the 6th house results in an unusual but efficient server of others. The Sun gives leadership, Mercury intellect, and Rahu strategic ambition. Pisces refines their motives through compassion. In the 6th house of daily service, this may produce spiritual administrators, holistic problem solvers, or reformers in health, law, or ritual. If Mercury is strong and Jupiter supports, this forms Raja Yoga through service, leadership built through helping others behind the scenes. If afflicted, it may result in over-idealization of helpers or manipulative self-righteousness. Moon's Venus-Jupiter in Pisces in the 7th house is a beautiful Saraswati yoga in relationship. The moon offers feeling, Venus gives devotion, and Jupiter blesses with wisdom. Pisces spiritualizes love into union. These individuals often attract partners who are teachers, healers, or artists. Their relationships can be emotionally rich and deeply inspiring. If well supported by Saturn or Mercury, they become nurturing counselors or lovers who walk the path of mutual growth. If afflicted, they may idealize relationships and suffer from disillusionment or martyrdom in love. Saturn plus Ketu in Pisces in the 8th house reflects the detached ascetic, the secret yogi, or the quiet karmic liberator. Saturn governs time and responsibility. Ketu severs the ego. Pisces grants surrender. In the 8th house of inner death and rebirth, this conjunction leads to a soul that transforms others through invisible labor. These natives may be spiritual healers, trauma workers, or karmic witnesses. If Jupiter supports, this becomes Moksha Karma Yoga, liberation through deep, silent endurance. If afflicted, this combination may bring isolation, fear of intimacy, or a sense of spiritual exile. Sun plus Mars Jupiter in Pisces in the 10th house merges leadership, courage, and spiritual integrity into public karma. The Sun shines, Mars initiates, and Jupiter gives purpose. Pisces turns this into sacred mission. In the 10th house, this is the chart of the spiritual warrior, enlightened activist, or teacher leader. These individuals often lead not from control, but from moral example. If all planets are strong, this becomes a Trikona Raja Yoga of compassionate command. If afflicted, they may struggle to assert themselves clearly or sacrifice too much for the collective. Moon plus Saturn's Mercury in Pisces in the 11th house produces a quiet architect of compassion in social systems. The moon gives empathy, Saturn adds structure, Mercury channels thought. Pisces lends altruism. In the 11th house of society, gains, and collectives, this combination manifests as those who build networks for spiritual healing, nonprofit work, or artistic mentorship. If Jupiter or Venus supports, this becomes Loka Seva Yoga, impactful service for the collective good. If afflicted, it may result in emotional detachment or idealistic disappointment in friendships. Rahu plus Mars Venus in Pisces in the 12th house creates a charged portal of creative and sensual transcendence. Mars gives drive, Venus gives desire, Rahu distorts and intensifies. Pisces refines all three toward mystical longing, artistic ecstasy, or unconventional spiritual path. These individuals may explore Tantra, aesthetic mysticism, or deeply karmic love entanglements. If Jupiter supports, it becomes Maha Moksha Yoga, ultimate release through love and surrender. If afflicted, the soul may become lost in fantasy, ungrounded passion, or escapist romance. Conjunctions in Pisces express not through control, but through grace. They seek the unseen, hear the unspoken, and love the undeserved. The yogas formed here awaken through surrender, mature through silence, and complete their karma through compassion. If Jupiter is strong and the moon or Venus is aligned, Pisces conjunctions guide the soul into oceanic wisdom, where knowing is feeling and feeling is freedom. Here the goal is not to dominate reality, but to dissolve into its sacred mystery.